Okay, so for this tutorial we are going to be working with Google Earth. Today we are going to be mapping out a little bit of a trip. Um, for the sake of this tutorial we're going to stay in the United States, so the purpose is to use Google Earth to go to some places that we might not have the opportunity to go in real life, but places that we would like to visit at some point. So we have to have a starting location. So we're going to start here in Nebraska since that's where we're at. Um, we'll plan on where we are going to fly out of. So the main airport for here in Nebraska out of Omaha is Eppley Airfield in Omaha. So that will be our first location. We're going to simply go up to our top left here and we'll type it into the search. As you can tell, Google Earth is already zooming in on Eppley Airfield for us. From here we have one of two options. We can go ahead and mark it from this view so we can see the airfield itself, but Google Earth is good enough that we can go over here to the right and we see our little yellow guy. We can actually go ahead and take him down to street view, and anywhere that these blue lines here pop up is anywhere that we can place our little yellow guy, so if we can have a street view. So we can go ahead and throw them in here, and Google Earth will go ahead and zoom in for us so we actually can feel like we are getting ready to walk into the air terminal here and get on the plane. So we are going to mark our first location. As we go up, we see our toolbar up here on the top. We simply click on the first. We're going to put a pin in here. We're going to add a place mark. So as we press that, you can see here on the screen where it is popping up where we're going to place our pin. We need to title it first of all, so let's give it a name. We're going to say Omaha. Let's go Eppley for Eppley Airfield. If we want to change our pin, we have all sorts of different options here. Since this is our first location, we can just simply go letter A. Alright, so we've added our first pin in here. As you can see here on the left, it has gone ahead and saved it into our places. Alright, so now, since we are going to stay in the U.S. today, let's go visit the Statue of Liberty. So we can go to search, pulling up Statue of Liberty right here. Alright, let's go ahead and search for the Statue of Liberty. Google Earth is going to go ahead and transport us over here to New York. And it's zooming in on the Statue of Liberty. Alright, since it is an island, it will be a little bit more difficult to have a street view. Let's go ahead and see if we have an option for a street view. As you can tell, there's nothing lighting up for us here. So we'll go ahead and put him back in his little spot. We can still pin it. We're still going to put our mark here. As you can tell, it's putting it right over what they have marked. We'll call it Statue of Liberty. And since this is our second stop, let's go ahead and letter it B this time. Alright, as you can tell, our pin has now changed to letter B. Click OK. We still have the option of kind of zooming in here because as we see these red little squares down here, these are actually pictures that we can click on, so that way we can get the full effect of the Statue of Liberty. Even though we can't go street view, we can still get a pretty neat picture here. And once it zooms in here, a pretty clear picture of the Statue of Liberty. So now we are technically on street view without technically even being on street view. But we can get a pretty good picture of the Statue of Liberty herself. Alright, so now we can exit the photo. For our second stop, since we're on the East Coast, let's go ahead and visit the U.S. Capitol. Well, maybe we have to type in United States Capitol. Let's go and see where we go here. Now as we're moving, we can go ahead and look on the side. You can tell we have A and B already put in place here. So there's the United States Capitol. We're up on Capitol Hill. So we have U.S. Capitol right here. So now we can go ahead and throw ourselves into Street View. We have plenty of options here. So let's go right in between the U.S. Capitol and the National Archives. I have a pretty great view of a lot of the beautiful things around DC from here. Alright, as we look around, we can either zoom around by clicking on the screen and just simply holding down and dragging, or we can go up here, we can change our view, and we can actually kind of move around. So we'll change our view, we can look up, look down. Alright, so here we see the National Archives. We can look up, we can turn back around, and we can actually move down the street. We can click forward, or we can just double click and keep moving forward. So as we double click forward, as we turn to our right here, we'll see the U.S. Supreme Court building. So a couple of things we get to see on this one stop. So there is the U.S. Capitol with the House and the Senate on the sides. We have not yet added a place mark, so let's go ahead and do that now. Let's go U.S. Capitol. Let's make sure we change it to letter C since this is our third stop. Click OK. Alright, now we're going to go to the West Coast now. Let's see. Let's go to the Golden Gate Bridge. So visiting a couple of landmarks here within the United States. Jumping across country and landing into San Fran and seeing the Golden Gate Bridge. Alright, so we can move around simply by clicking and dragging here. Change our view here. And let's go see what we can see from Street View. Well, let's see if we can get a side view of the Golden Gate Bridge here. There we are. And so let's add our last place mark here. And let's go Golden Gate Bridge. Let's change our to letter D. And there we are. We can see our stops here. We have A, B, C, and D. Final tour is kind of mixed in the middle there, but we can see the places that we've located. Now we are going to want to make sure that we go up here, we go to save, and we need to save my places. Alright. Since we have these all saved under our places, we have them saved to our places. Now they are saved to our computer. So next time we close out, we'll be able to go ahead and pull this up, and we'll have these locations already saved for us. So we can have a quick transition. We can transition back to Omaha really quickly just by double clicking on it. Alright, and it takes us right back to Omaha. And it should put us right back into that street view of where we saved. Since we put our place mark here, we are already in street view, and so we can go right back to looking around at Epley. Alright, so we've now landed back in Nebraska. We've gone full tour. We've gotten our 3 stops in, and now our tutorial is complete.